I kind of took last pick and nobody picked my favorite buck. He's an awesome deer with a big mass, and he's an old buck. It's the last day and it is very cold. And not get a shot, it's almost fitting for that buck. We'll see you next year. This is a spot I actually hunted it last year. We didn't see him until the very last day. We kind of wanted to rework it, hoping that'll just twist it up for him a little bit. And we're back. And conditions are perfect for the buck that gave me this slip last year, so. I kind of took last pick and nobody picked my favorite buck.
Last season I pitted in to hunt a buck that we had heaps of history with over the past, from stealth cam photos to encounters and shed hunts with the kids. In all that time only being able to film the buck twice, both in low light. When the 2022 season started, I started putting time in. Things were slow, but deer were moving and we were having a blast, though the old buck had nearly vanished. I'd had the chance to pass several bucks, and little did I know how my season would begin to drag out deep into the late season, the rut. I'd filmed some gorgeous bucks, but still no sign of the old fella. And before I knew it, it was the very last day.
It's the last day, and it is very cold. I usually don't get bothered by the cold too much, but right now with the wind chill, it's minus 39.
And on that very last day, when this doe looks left, the encounter with the old buck finally came. All the time had been worth it, and he was right there, though never giving us a chance at a shot.
Well, I guess that is a wrap for 2022, and I don't know if we could have a better ending for a deer of that age to get an encounter like that and not get a shot. It's almost fitting for that buck, and it might be the best ending possible. The deer got to win some too, so we'll see you next year.
Last year was a long, cold season, and it might sound odd, but I meant it when I said that I was almost happy that the buck could give us a slip. However, this year, you can bet there was only one deer I had any interest in hunting.
After a seasons-long effort, we had came up empty-handed. But now this year the big fella was back, downhill some again, but heavier than ever, and there was no question what the year's goal would be. Like any hunt, it starts here, making a plan, adjusting that plan, and making moves, putting years of history with the deer into action. This is often where success is born, or failure.
Stevie and I came in here today to have a look around. We've actually been in here quite a bit this spring and summer. This is a spot I actually hunted last year for a buck that we didn't see for the entire season. We didn't see him until the very last day, and even then he kind of put the sneak on us. We kind of wanted to rework it this year, so we came in here early. We've been getting pictures of that buck. He went from a 9-point to a 4x4 this year. Just a tremendously heavy 4x4. It's gonna be interesting to see him up close. My gut feeling is we need to make a move to get in a better spot to hunt the deer. He's been one of the toughest deer we've actually had trying to get kind of an encounter with, but everything that Steve and I found here all spring and all summer said this is the spot. One of the reasons it's a hard spot to make changes to is because there's two big ravines here, and they kind of peter out and meet on this plateau, and then there's a channel of bush on each side that V's down. So we always pick to go on this side because the predominant winds are west, so the deer are going to want to travel on this side of the channel. If we go to the other channel, we don't really have any kind of game plan to get through the deer without busting them. The bucks that live in there that head out through this channel into the ag, if you want to hunt them, this has kind of been the spot. We got our muddy garage blind up here this year. We got the hawk, the captain's chair in there this year. I don't know who's going to sit on it. Maybe Steven will be fighting for the captain's chair, but we'll get our stealth cam up here and put some more monster meat out, but we know he's going to be right here. During the summer and pre-season, he comes through here in daylight, great. Once hunting season comes, that really slows down and he starts to come through here later and later. I don't think the deer's nocturnal. I think that we've been hunting here long enough that he's got us a little bit figured out. So that's why we made a couple of minor changes this year, hoping that'll just twist it up for him a little bit for him to make a mistake.
We often say not making little mistakes kills big deer, and the same goes for the deer. It's just one tiny little mistake that he has to make for us to take advantage. and after getting reset up as expected, he's right there, in good light, but in years past that's only lasted until season. A tough deer to hunt, but it's even tougher not to appreciate this old buck. Age for a buck in the Whitetail woods seems to be getting more rare every year. After setting up, the rest of summer passes by with the heavy old buck still on the stealth cam. With nothing left for us to do but to try to be patient, waiting for the season opener, practicing to know that if the slim chance of an opportunity comes, I can make it count.
And we're back. 2023, opening day September 1st. We should be with the kids right now, but they're eyeing a couple spots and the conditions are terribly wrong. So we couldn't head into those spots, and I thought, who can sit at home on opening night? And the wind and conditions are perfect for the buck that gave me this last year. So there's a couple other nice young up-and-comers in here we want to get a look at this year again. And then the big fella. So the big fella went from a 5x5 to a 9. Now he's just a straight 8 with a flyer. Exceptional mass. I think this year, without looking back, I think he's 10 years old. And if you think hunting a 10-year-old deer is not tough, it doesn't matter how you hunt. It's tough. Made some changes here this year, very moderately. Nothing worked as good as it did here, which didn't work very good last fall. But everything pointed to this being the spot. Last year I thought we might get him, and we didn't even get a look at him until the very last day. So we'll see what happens this year. All the big fires on the go this year has everything super smoky. It's been very, very dry, so water's been a little bit more of a draw. Here we go, we'll see.
I'd mentioned some younger bucks that I'd wanted to film, and it seems luck was on my side, as the first deer I would see for 2023 was this gorgeous 5x5. A deer with incredible potential, and that I'd filmed the year previous while hunting the old buck. I might be a little different, but an encounter like this, just getting to watch, can make my entire season. The buck had been staring to the right for some time, like he was concerned, tail ready. I was watching too, though spotted nothing but a couple of does and fawns. As they left, he kept staring. And though I couldn't see anything, he definitely could. Whatever he had seen had put an end to my day one, but in any case, how could I complain?
Oh, we're back in here. Took a little bit of a break from the spot, but for pretty good reason. We got Mag out, and he got himself a pretty neat deer. A couple days later, Taylor proved she still has the horseshoes, because there's a brow-tide buck that she wanted to have a look at. We've not filmed that deer in the last 5 or 6 years. We crawled into the blind, and an hour and a half later she had him on the ground. That's probably been the most fun the last couple of years. Our hunting has taken a big backseat to getting to watch the kids succeed, and getting to watch them put the work in and then reap the rewards. There's no free ride, so those kids earn every bit of the deer that they get to hunt, that's for sure. But now it's our turn again, so we're back in here after this buck, and we had to make a little bit of a change because we came in here 3 days ago to check the stealth cam and put some more moss smell out, and a moose had gone full Armageddon on our blind. Completely destroyed it, not even remotely salvageable, so we had to tear the blind out and set up another blind. So we did that quick and we got out here, but we're in there now. Pretty warm today, and really smoky again, but what do you do? Here we go.
Tonight again, I'd have deer moving early, though this time it was a different young buck. A heavy young 4x4, almost undoubtedly an offspring from the very buck I was hunting. I looked up, and there again tonight was the almost perfectly even 5x5, now showing off his rack and fresh hardhorn. This just goes to show that size isn't everything, as he's a much larger buck, though he seems to not want any part of the smaller heavy 8. From the left, this young big brow buck emerges, and it's starting to seem like a really good deer night where they're up and on their feet early. The 5x5 now tonight staring nervously to my left. I start to wonder if the evening will get cut short again, what he might be looking at, and just to the edge I can see movement and see that it's another buck heading my way. I can't see much but a glimpse, but that's all I need to recognize just who it was. Broad daylight on just day 2, out of the smoke, there's the heavy old buck. Though seemingly following last year's script to follow in behind the blind. But this time, at the last second, he cuts up towards the blind, and I know he has to be right in or darn close to our wind. But after checking, he decides all is safe and angles in towards my shooting window. But as much as I love watching deer, seeing them win, we're still hunters at heart. And well, it wasn't safe for him at all. Confidently, but almost carelessly, he walks up, and I draw, though he turns way before I can shoot. But with one step, I get my chance back.
That is almost unbelievable. We were certain we were going to have to put another year in on that deer. We sat here right until the very last day last year, and he come through just like I thought he was going to today. He came in the edge, and we were lucky because our wind was a northwest wind. We had those onyx running, and I think that saved us a bit. That's a deer that I thought we may not ever get, and I'm pretty excited right now.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good.
So, what was it, like 35 days last year and 2 this year? He's been such a touchy deer for years.
Yeah.
And tonight he just had not a worry in the world.
How'd he look? He's heavy, eh?
He's awesome, like monster body, he's just a monster. He's awesome. He's just the epitome of a big old buck. I mean.
Okay, I'm gonna fly over there.
Okay, right on. I'm not even sure if we'll have to drag him or not. Blood there. Blood. Yeah, he's right there. That's exactly where we thought he was going to go down. That's where we heard him go down. We tried to get this deer for quite a few years now, and last year I really pitted it on him, and we hunted all year, and we didn't get a single encounter with him until the last day of the season, and he dodged us, which was fitting for him. I won't lie, I kind of like it when they get away sometimes too. This year we made some minor changes, except this year it only took 2 days, which that's how it happens. Sometimes they make a mistake, and he just made a mistake this year, and it's a hunt of a lifetime when you can hunt a deer that old. And this is one of my favorite bucks ever. I said that last year when I started hunting them, and just look at the mass. Like, he's so heavy, a high pressure area. To live like that, it's just, you can't ask for anything better. I love the deer, and what a hunt. How lucky am I?
It doesn't matter how much time we spend in the woods, it just gets more exciting. Getting to watch these deer, follow these deer, taking a front row seat to watch a king rise to sit at the top of his area and outsmart us time and time again. Hoping that if we're patient enough, careful enough, that he'll make just one little mistake, giving us the chance at the experience of a lifetime. You don't get to cut tags too often on an old buck like this, but when you do, it's not just filling the freezer, not just something for the wall, it's also stories, experiences, and memories of the hunt and of the buck that will now live on forever.
To book your own dream hunt in northern Saskatchewan, contact us at Canadian Whitetail Outfitters. Stay up to date with Dean and the team by following us on Instagram, liking us on Facebook, and subscribing to our YouTube channel.